Hello everybody. If you don't know, my name is Raven. I am the founder and CEO of Unknown Writers Collaboration. And again, if you don't know, Unknown Writers Collaboration I created for writers like myself who are unknown and who want to be in the industry in some capacity, whether it be book tours or there are movies being made. However, writers want to be seen in the world and are not that way. We have a place for that, and that's why I created this place. So today we have a very, 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 very special guest. So excited for this. She is very talented, up and coming new director. She's a screenwriter, she's a poet, she has multiple books. She's dabbled in some acting. She's written for Destiny's Child. She almost performed for Common, but she wears more hats than that, multiple hats. Anyway, without further ado, me. So let me give you the backstory of this video because it's very funny. So I was at work last Thursday and I was looking up Broadway tickets to go see Othello so I could see Denzel. And I was searching, I was like, okay, Broadway tickets, whatever. And I was like, $600, Jesus. $600, that's $1,200 for me and my husband. And I was like, ooh, no. So then it took me down a rabbit hole, and I have this short film, Son of the South, that I've written. I wrote it in 2017, and it's just waiting for the perfect storm. And as I'm sitting here, I go into this rabbit hole of like, oh yeah, who would I love to have direct this film? And I was like, John David Washington, for sure. Ava DuVernay, for sure. And then I was like, oh gosh, John David Washington. It just really stuck out into my brain. And I was like, okay, so I went down this rabbit hole. I was like, how do I contact John David Washington? And everything came up. I was like, you're not going to get him. And then God popped into my brain. He said, girl, these people are not going to be online for you to contact. But I did message him on Instagram. I have an Instagram page for Son of the South that there's nothing on there. I don't follow anybody. I don't post anything on there. That's a whole other story. But so I did message him on there, asking him to reach back out to me or whatever to talk about Son of the South. But God was like, girl, these damn people is not going to come to your house, break into your house, steal your laptop and take your scripts and say, ooh, I got to be in that film. I got to make that film. And God was like, you have to put yourself out there. And he was like, do what you do every day when you're driving to work. You have these conversations. This is God talking to me. He said, you have these conversations with yourself all the time in these interview-esque type situations. Do that. Film yourself doing that. Put yourself out there. And I was like, God. He said, girl. I said, okay. So this is me doing that. So that was the whole introduction thing. But so as I said earlier in my own introduction, I have been writing since elementary school. Honestly, since elementary school. I actually wrote for Destiny's Child when I was in elementary school. However, I dropped the ball for that. And there's been multiple times I've dropped the ball, and we'll discuss each one of those times that I dropped the ball, for this sort of deal. I was in elementary school. I was in a band. We were called the Bad Kitties. I only remember one song, and it was called Paradise, but I do not remember the lyrics, so I don't know. But I wrote a song. There was a couple of different people that I wrote songs for, but I only remember Destiny's Child sticking out. But I wrote a song for them. I folded it up, put it in the envelope, took it to the mailbox, and sent it on the way. Well, the next day I went out and checked the mail, and I got something back. I was like, oh yes, so awesome. I didn't know how to do a letter properly. Yeah, I had to address a letter properly. So that never got to Destiny's Child. Ball dropped, number 1. Okay, I don't so much write songs anymore. I did recently write a song though. I was laying in bed and I was just making up, songs as I was going. My husband's like, "Is that a real song?" I was like, "It is now. What are you talking about?" But anyway, so no, I do have 5 books on Amazon that you could find. I'll post the link for those in the description. My very first book was called Cold Flowers, which is available on Amazon. And then Love and Poetry. That's available on Books A Million and Amazon. Raven's Nest. Oh gosh. Evolution of a Butterfly. And the most recent is Electric. All available on Amazon. Okay. Yes. My scripts. Let's talk about the scripts. Oh gosh, my very first one that I wrote is Son of the South. Like I said earlier, I wrote that in 2017. It is about two coming of age Black kids, Gary and Tangi. They are, they love each other very, very deeply. It's not, their relationship is, this film is very poetic and very, very close to my heart. I don't know how to explain it, but basically they grew up on the same block, different ends of the world. Gary didn't have his father. Tangi had both of her parents. She graduated high school when Gary dropped out so that he could take care of his mom and stuff like that. And then he got caught up in a drug deal gone wrong and got sentenced to prison. And then it just follows that process. I'm not gonna give it away because that's too much. But it's a beautiful, beautiful love story, intercepted by a very corrupt justice system. Breaks my heart, but it's my favorite film that I've ever written. It's a short film. I don't see it going longer than a short film. I recently reached out to a local director, filmmaker, and she read over it, and she had some of her people read over it, and they were like, their feedback was, I accepted their feedback. One was that it was a little too on the nose. Sorry, that's just what it is. I'm not changing that. So I think this film is perfect the way that it is. I do. And like I said, the perfect storm it'll come together and it'll be so amazing. Now, one thing that I did have to go in and change though is because I've never been to film school. I've never went to school for writing, and I freaking suck at grammatically writing, whatever. Anyways, and I had to learn how to format the script properly. And I did that. And however, I don't think that it's completely necessary from the way that I had it to how it is now. it can still get made into a movie this way versus this way, but there's a process for everything. And if I want, you know, the movies to be made, then I guess I have to do them this way, right? Right. Anyways, so John David Washington. I would love for him to direct this film. I think the style of it and the aura of this film, just, it really screams for him to do this, and I can't wait. My wish list of actors and actresses to work with. Oh, gosh. Let me say this though. Let me say this. The actress that I would love to like play me would be Tessa Thompson. Tessa, I love you. I love her. I think she, her energy, her softness, I love everything about her. Her acting, she's got her directing and her production and company and everything. I think that's great, and I would really love to work with her. And I have another film. I don't have my mics on. Dang. Well, I guess we're just gonna continue rocking on without them. Anyways, I have another film. This is the second film that I wrote, and it's a full-length film. It is Love Calls. It's a beautiful love story. Basically, the premise of the film is telling people, don't wait. Don't wait. Because it can change like that, right? Life can change just like that. And I think it's important. I think that's a very valuable lesson. But so throughout the movie, a single mother, she falls ill with a brain tumor. Her son's dad comes in to help take care of her, and then they fall back in love. Right. I would love for Tessa to play that role of Rachel in that movie. I think her softness, her strength to do it all by herself really exudes Tessa Thompson's energy and her aura and her, that would be great. Zendaya. I would love to work with Zendaya just because we have seen her in roles that's younger. I have a film, Happy Ending, that I think Zendaya and Donald Glover, match made in heaven, or even Zendaya and John David Washington, match made in heaven. Okay. Let's see. The film I am currently working on filming is High. I will say this. A lot of my films that I've written, I've dreamt them. I dream them, I wake up, and I get busy. Okay? Busy. I wrote High in a work day, so 8 hours. It's a short film. However, there is an extended version, but right now we're just doing the short film. If you go back a few videos, actually one video, I only have 2 videos up on this channel. If you go back a video, you will see it's myself, my brother-in-law, and my husband that are acting in it, and that we're directing and producing it all by ourselves. So we've had to take a little break because we got bills to pay. Right? So yeah, we're taking a break from that, but I did dream that movie, and I wrote it in a day, and now we're making it happen. And that's the beauty that I'm finding in my creativeness is I can do this myself. I can. It may not be a $1 billion movie raking in revenue, but I did it. I made a movie. I'm making a movie. I directed a movie. I produced a movie. I wrote a movie. So that makes me successful in the business. that I want to be in. I really want to be on the back end. I don't want to be out here, y'all. Got little crazy things going on. Okay. But I think that's important to know for myself, because I struggle. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not where I want to be. Like, if I would have done XYZ differently, I would be rich, right? Rich. But then I sit back and I think, girl, you have 5 books. 5 books that you wrote and you know, put together, edited, and all that by yourself, that the world has access to. All right, you have scripts that you've written. You're making a movie. You've already made 1 movie. You've written for Destiny's Child. You're very successful. You're just unknown, right? So I tap myself on the shoulder, on the back, because that's really something. You know, it's not to go unnoticed. It is something to me. And another time that I dropped the ball, Common is my #1 favorite rapper. Okay. Favorite. But he's my favorite rapper. I seen him in Cleveland a few years ago. I went by myself. I'm trying to think when it was. Maybe 2019. I seen him in Cleveland. And so I get there mad early because I have anxiety about being late. So I get there mad early. I'm in front. The stage is here, and I'm right here. So I'm standing right here at this gate, right in front of the stage, but I have to go pee, or I go buy a drink. I can't remember which one it was, but either way, I lose my spot. During the performance and stuff, I'm just sitting here just, oh my God, just taking it all in, okay? And then the same exact spot that I was standing in, he pulls the girl on stage. Okay, fine. So that's ball #2. Ball #3 happens to be from the same night. So I bought backstage pass so that I can meet him. And I did. But I should have went last because I had brought some poetry with me. I brought a regular poem and then what I call like poetry rap. And had I waited to go last instead of being excited, I could have rapped it for him. So when I say that I almost performed for Common, that's what I mean. Common, if you see this, that was me. Call me and I can rap for you again. Well, not again, but you know. So that's ball #3 that I dropped. My favorite rapper, #2, J. Cole. I have a very, very special place in my heart for J. Cole, and I will tell you guys partial part of the story, okay? And then, because I still have to tell him this story, and I want it to be very organic when I tell him this, and I believe that one day I will tell him this story into his face, and we'll be like, oh my God, that's so wild. So, For Your Eyes Only documentary came out all those years ago. I don't even know what year it was at this point. And then I'm watching it, I only watch 7 minutes of it. I turn it off and I start writing. I finish my poem, my rap, whatever. I finished it. I closed the book and I went about my day. I never finished the documentary and I never went back to do anything with what I wrote. The album drops. And so, of course, I'm listening. I turn it on. First song. Directly coincides. Okay? It's so insane. And that's why I share a special place for him, because there's literally no way. Like, we were intertwined in the same energy place. Like, I felt whatever he was feeling. And that's special to me. Jaco. And this is how I drop ball number 4. Go to Dreamville last year, and me and my husband go, and I'm just standing there watching him, and I'm like, oh my God, like just in awe. Like, it was just such an experience. And so there were so many times that everything was dead silent. Okay, dead silence. And inside of me, I was like, I have to tell you a story. But the words would not come out of my mouth. I was chicken. I don't know why, but it didn't, the words were not evicted from my mouth. So inside of me, like, my body is screaming like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But it didn't happen. And it should have, but it didn't. So that's ball number 4 that was dropped. But yes, I would love to write with him. When I think in my brain of the song that we would write, it's definitely a love song. I want to hear him pour out his heart in a different, with different words. Like, I don't want it to be about the rap. I want love to pour onto those pages with him. Like, that's what I want with him. And I think that's what it would naturally become. And I'm so excited for that day. God, I'm like itchy and stuff. So what else? So I'm a philanthropist. It took me a long time to learn how to say that word correctly. I paint. I've donated works of arts to the Boys and Girls Club, to Ronald McDonald House, to American Heart Association, to the YWCA. I paint and I just give it away. You know, my biggest thing, I think, is fear-wise for me is being successful. Like, you know, and I don't know why I just have that fear. And I always think like, well, if I was somebody else, it would have done take off. It would have already taken off. I would already be XYZ. So like, I put a lot of that on me. Like, I'm not successful because I'm who I am, but who I am is we're good. We're very good. I'm good. Excuse me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, the actors that I want to work with. Lakeith Stanfield. He's got so much range, dog. So much range. And I love him. I think he's really, really great. Damson Idris. He's great. And I always find it so interesting how these actors that are not American can like cover their natural accents. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And yeah, I want to be a part of that and see how that goes. Lakeith, Damson, Denzel, John David, which I've already spoke about. Oh gosh, there's a plethora of them. And the movies that I have written, I could see them being played by the greats, you know, Denzel. Actually, I don't really have one for Denzel right now, but he's about to retire is what I've heard. So you don't have to write a script for him. But as I was saying, the scripts that I have written now are, I want the younger people, the younger generations, the up and coming stars to come in and rip it apart. Like, I want them to blow it out the water. Like, oh gosh, what is her name? The beautiful black woman from Grownish, Yara. I'm sorry. And then Zoe Kravitz. I think she's gorgeous, and I think she's so funny, and I just love her energy too. Tessa, Zendaya. From Dear White People, Ashley. Oh God, love her. Issa Rae. So I had it written down on a paper, but I can't find it. But that's part of my wish list, and one day I know it's gonna come true because God told me to do this video. He said, "Girl, make that fucking video." That's what he said. And I said, okay, it's really weird, you know, but here I am. I did it, and, you know, I'm listening to him more and trying to tap in and get into more creative spaces and put myself out there more and be unafraid and be unapologetic and not give in, not give up. You know, I think the most important thing for me, I think, was when I gave that script to the local director here, and she was telling me everything, like giving me the feedback and stuff. And I was just like, okay, that's not the vision that I have for this. And I'm not just going to settle because my film will be made. Like, I have a vision for this film, and I know it will be made how I see fit. Okay. Well, anyways, everybody, I thank you so much for tuning in for this 30-minute interview, talk, whatever, this conversation, this to get to know me, actor, director, producer, writer, painter, mother, wife, baker. I do bake. Yeah, I love being creative. I've always been creative, and I just want my movies to be seen by the world. I think they're really great, and anybody who has the opportunity to be a part of these projects will not be disappointed, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Thank you.